everyone, my name is Luke Aberly, and today we have a super exciting interview. I'm here with my dad, Troy Aberly, and we're going to be interviewing a super exciting person. I've looked up to him. He's a super inspirational person, and that is Ken Waltz. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. This is great.
Super exciting. So, start off with the first question. How about a little introduction for the audience, in case the audience doesn't know who you are? Introduction.
You want me? So, I'm Ken Walls. I'm the CEO and founder of Client Solution Innovations, digital marketing firm. I've been doing website development and marketing for 27-ish years, somewhere in that vicinity. And I've built several multi-million-dollar companies from the ground up. I'm known as the connector. I'm blessed to be connected with some absolutely amazing people. And I'm also the founder of the Grow Live Academy, where I teach people how to grow their brands and their businesses using social media and live streaming.
That is really, really cool.
You're also an Amazon live influencer.
I'm an Amazon. I'm one of a handful of people on the planet that's authorized to live stream directly on Amazon. I've had some amazing people that I've interviewed on there as well. Sharon Lecter, who's a good friend of mine as well. I've had a bunch of people on Amazon Live, and I've written 7 books, so I'm a #1 best-selling author as well. I always forget that.
That is really crazy.
Yeah.
That is
so. Yeah, I'm just out here hustling, just like you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was your first company or business project that you started, and what age did you start it at?
7 years old.
7 years old.
Probably.
Wow.
Somewhere in there. I grew up in a very poor family, and I saw all the kids that had their parents that had money at school. They were buying designer clothes and jeans and fancy things, and I had never got those. I mean, I always got secondhand clothes or whatever my mom could afford. And so I was like, enough of this already. And so I decided I'm just going to start knocking on doors and selling my lawn mowing service in the summer and snow shoveling in the winter. And that's what I did. I went door to door, and I'd knock on every door in the town that I lived in until I'm, couldn't knock on anymore, couldn't shovel anymore, couldn't mow anymore. I had one of those little BMX bicycles, and I had a rope. I had this contraption made up where I could pull my lawnmower behind me, had the gas can on it and everything. And I'd go door to door and I'd sell lawn mowing services. That's where it started for me.
I'd agree with you there, Ken, because I think I'm the only person I know of that had to change tires or wheels on a mower from transport.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, I've had to do that. So now somebody else. I've done, and but I was always there was something in me. I don't know what that is. But I had this spark that I'd go to the back in the day, Luke, I don't know if but we would go to the drugstore and we would buy, I would buy packs of chewing gum, and then I would go to school. I forget what I paid, maybe 50 cents for a pack of gum or quarter, whatever it was. But I'd go to school and I'd sell, the sticks of gum for 25 cents a piece or 50 cents or whatever. And I would make quite a bit of money from that. I'd buy multiple packs of gum and then, I'd sell them and kids paid it. So I was like, cool. So I I learned early on how to turn a profit. Profit's a good word, by the way. It's not a bad word. It's a really good word. So, I learned that early on, and it's just kind of carried into my adult life. Now, along the way, I've attempted working for other people, very unsuccessfully. I'm a terrible employee. Terrible.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I'm a bad employee. I'm really bad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I have the next question for you. What would you tell your 12-year-old self?
Oh, wow. It's never as bad as your mind is telling you it is. That's what I would tell my 12-year-old self.
That's pretty good
It's-
advice, actually.
I like that.
We live in our thoughts, and Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how the average human being has 60,000 thoughts a day, and he says that 90% of the thoughts that we have on a daily basis are the same exact thoughts that we had yesterday, and that 50% of those thoughts we're making up along the way. So we're literally walking around lying to ourselves. Like, if you've ever, and I think every human on the planet is capable of this, where you stub your toe on something and it hurts really bad, and then later in the day you're feeling the pain still there a little bit, and you tell somebody, I broke my toe this morning, and they're like, what? And I broke my toe. I'm convinced it's broken. It hurts so bad. You don't know that it's broken, but what we do is our minds love to embellish things and blow them way out of proportion, which puts us into a victim mindset, or can lead us into this victim spiral. And I've been there many, many, many times in my life. But I try to control that now, because we have control over that. Most of us don't. It takes a long time to recognize that we have that control.
That is like so powerful. That's making me think now. That is like
Yeah.
Well, and I think, like, for one thing, if I can just jump in here for a minute, as we talk to kids and adults, I mean, both the kids and the adults, not only need to learn that ahead of time, but it's also reflecting back and thinking about, the last week's worth of events in your adult life. How could you have looked at that differently, right?
Yeah.
If you have and I'm not perfect at this, but I published another book recently. It's a journal, and it's called the 10-Minute Mastery Journal, and it's on Amazon. It's actually in my Amazon store at kenwalls.shop. That takes you directly to my Amazon store.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but the journal is a 60-day journal, and it's literally, it's me writing. I write the first 3 or 4 pages, and I give you a couple of assignments to write out, like to dream bigger, to expand your vision, and then something that Grant said. I've heard him say it many times. Grant Cardone, is, the average human being writes their goals down maybe one time in a year, right? January 1st, it's a new year, it's a new me, blah, 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 until like January 9th, and then they're done. They're like, okay, that's too hard, man. I'm not doing all that. But the problem is people lose focus. And so this journal I created is to help you remain focused and help you remain grateful, because gratitude is the most powerful thing in the world for anything you want to attract. And so when we're grateful for we have to we have to consciously remember that 96% of everything you do as a human being is done on an unconscious level. Like, you're sitting there blinking right now, and if I said to you, Luke, how many times have you blinked in the last 30 minutes, you would not be able to give me an accurate answer, because you don't know. How many times has your heart beat? How many smiles have you made? How many, we're doing all of this stuff unconsciously, and we think we have some kind of control over our lives, when in reality our lives are really being ran by our unconscious mind, and we don't even realize the stuff we're doing. So I put this journal together to help people really be intentional about their day, to be intentional about their lives. If you go through 1 year and you follow this journal, you do what I say in this journal, and that is write your goals down first thing in the morning, write your goals down before you go to bed, write down the things that you're grateful for, write down some I am positive affirmation statements every single day. At the end of 1 year, the average person, again, maybe will write their goals one time in a year. At the end of a year, if you follow this journal and you do this stuff, you will have written your goals 730 times. Who's got a better shot at hitting their goals? The guy that's written them 730 times or the guy that's written them once? It's a rhetorical question, but so when you sit down and you really become intentional about your life, that's where people need to really work is how do I turn off the unconscious autopilot and go to being intentional in my life? That's what it's really about.
That is like that makes a lot of sense, because another thing that I was thinking about too is we have to feed our subconscious mind because it's doing lots of the work. And so if we feed it really good knowledge, then our subconscious thoughts and movements become better and better.
1000%. Got to
And I had to talk about diet that way. Was the diet of, just like what Bob Proctor talks about, what are you sensing? What's coming in your sight, your mouth, your ears, all of the things, your touch, all it is just so powerful, and to be able to affect that.
And I think with your subconscious, like you sometimes if you go to, grab a chocolate bar or something, you might not even remember that you had the chocolate bar. But if you go have a piece of broccoli, it's going to be way more, you remember that you had a piece of broccoli. And so kind of switching that around. And
I'm going to check out your journal, Ken.
Yes, me too.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's $7 or $8, I think. But I think that and again, look, if given the choice between chocolate and broccoli, I'm eating the chocolate. I'm just being real. I hate broccoli, but like I just do. Like, I'll eat it. I don't get me wrong, I'll eat it, but I'd way rather have the chocolate. So, and which is also something that I'd like to make a point about is I have 19 years of sobriety. I'm a recovered alcoholic. And in 2002, God, my higher power, whatever you want to call it, said, all right, dude, you've had enough. You've got something you need to do in this world for me, and you sure can't do it drunk. So he pulled me off of a bar stool, and I've been sober by his grace ever since then.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I highly would, and I would also tell my 12-year-old self, stop that. Because I just got into too much trouble as a kid. But
how old were you when you were at that point?
At what point?
When you started sobriety?
32.
So I was 34 years old.
No, 34. I was 34.
So I was 34 years old, and I started a program on a piece of paper called Create and Live Chapter 2. And I wrote down my goal at the top, and I wrote on the left side, I wrote Chapter 1, 0 to 34 years old, and I wrote down all the things that were preventing me from hitting my goal. On the other side, I wrote down Chapter 2, 34 years old to 118, because I'm eating a little bit more broccoli now, so I'm going to live a little longer than you, obviously, now. But so you got to do it. But in all seriousness, I wrote down all the things I needed to do, and I was definitely on a definite path of very talented alcoholism, and so, anyways, for me now it's just about 9 years, but the exact same age as you. I'm 43 years old. And exact same age as you. That's when I started Chapter 2.
Wow, at 34.
Yeah,
good job, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll be 53 in July. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I think we and Luke, here's what I tell my daughter is a national dance champion. She's got, in fact, tonight she has a dance, what's it called, recital,
Recital, yeah.
and tomorrow another, part of the same recital, two shows. um she's won first place in her own, solo at a national competition two different times. And she's sometimes, like most humans, she falls into um being a perfectionist sometimes, and she can be a little hard on herself, and I'm always like, look, part of being alive is being and to succeed, you have to be able to accept you're going to screw up, you're going to make mistakes along the way, and then you just adjust the sails. The hardest thing for me was forgiving myself for all the mistakes I had made in the past. And once I was able to say, okay, that's old. And Glenn Morshower really, he has this wonderful saying, um, that's old, I'm new, next. The Luke that you were yesterday is not the same Luke that you are today. And the Ken that I am today is not the same Ken I was yesterday. Every day we grow just a little bit more. And even if we don't grow, you're still not the same person. And so what we have a tendency of doing is being here I am, this new person today, and I'm walking around judging myself based on crap that I did yesterday that was a mistake maybe, or whatever. And so when we're walking around judging ourselves of all of that, it makes it really difficult to progress and become more in life, which is what I think we're supposed to do. We have to become more, we have to make more money, we have to expand if we want to help other people on this planet.
I agree.
I think capitalism is a great thing in the sense of, just really seeing that vision and feeling honored to have the way of doing it. You have the
Yeah,
ability to do it.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilty
absolutely.
about being successful and having goals.
No, never, never, ever. I agree.
What's another question you have, sir?
Um,
Talked about this question was parents, if you had a group of parents that came up to you and you noticed that their kids want to do something, but they're limiting their kids, saying go be kids, and when you're 18 or 21 years old, what do you say to the parent that, hey, your parents taught you some things that caused your DNA to be this way? What is something, Ken, that you would tell a parent to inspire their kids and also allow their own inner inspiration to take over and live their dreams?
I'm not sure I understand what would I say to a parent
Well,
to
a parent that says
who has limiting beliefs?
limiting beliefs, as Tony would
ah
call it, right? And and you're like, man, if that parent would just stop being so, hand the kid the iPad, not really allowing them to do something. If the kid's like, I want to
yeah,
learn about business, I want to learn
yeah,
about this, and the parent's like, you're a kid, you don't have time for that now.
yeah. I'm a pretty big dude, so I'd probably smack him first. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I wouldn't. Um, I didn't say stop that. So, look, I was literally in the middle. I had a conversation yesterday because I have an older daughter that's 15, almost, well, 15 and a half. And I want to control everything she's doing because I don't want her to make mistakes. I don't want her to. But here's the part that's tough for parents, because parents innately love their kids. Most of us. I mean, there are parents that don't, which doesn't make sense to me. But I think deep down in most parents absolutely would do anything for their children. Um, I did not have the best role models. Well, I didn't have role models as a kid, and my parents were anyway. So I think that I would say, get out of your kid's way. You've got to get out of your kid's way. Like I would ask the parents. So I would say, Troy, let me ask you something. Are you reaching and accomplishing everything that you imagined you would become when you were a kid, when you were Luke's age, if you were the one in question, right? I would say, are you accomplishing everything you wanted to be when you were a kid? And if everybody, eventually I would get them to be honest with me, and they would, 99% would say no, right? No, I'm not anywhere near where I wanted to be. And I would say, do you realize that that's caused you to have limiting beliefs as a result? And I would convince you, because it's the truth, it does cause limiting beliefs. Our little tiny failures, if we focus on them, add up to big failures and make us stomp on the brakes in life. And so then I would say, why do you want to use your limiting beliefs and pass those on to your children? Why would you want to pass those limiting beliefs on to your children? Don't you wish for your kids to be everything that you wanted to be and more? And if you're honest, the answer would be yes, of course. And I would say, then get out of his way. Get out of his way and let him make mistakes. And then don't beat him up over the mistakes, because the mistakes are the mistakes. And if you do beat him up for a second because you fall into that limiting belief pattern, go apologize and own up to being a jerk. Like, own up to it.
Yeah. So true. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Because the mistakes are really the mistakes that you've created in your mind as that limitation to start with.
Yeah.
It's hard to define a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, look, how many times, we are so critical. If we're criticizing somebody else, it's typically because we see that same exact thing inside of ourselves, right? And so, dude, like, you're gonna screw up. Like, Luke, I'm not like I said, I can throw a baseball like super fast. My little brother's 6 foot, almost 6'6". He was actually a minor league pitcher. Okay. And I can throw a ball fast. He was a minor league baseball pitcher. He throws a ball like it hurts to catch his fastball. I mean, it hurts, right? And I like to wear full body armor. Like, because if you miss, man, it really hurts.
It really hurts.
So it's fast, 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. And so, like, if I took you out, Luke, and said, hey, man, my brother's going to throw some fastballs to you, good luck, you'd be like, no, that'll kill me. And it probably could, but if you miss and it hits you in the head, it's lights out. So, we have to learn that our mistakes are okay, that they get. And I don't know where I was going with the baseball analogy, but you're going to go out and you're going to get hit with some balls. You're going to get and you're going to learn as a result. My little girl, she's going to be 11 in a few days. And we go out and she loves to throw the foot. She's very athletic. She loves to throw the football. And so we'll go out and throw the you guys call it football in Canada, right? Yeah. Some countries are like, oh, you mean soccer? They think I'm talking about soccer. I'm like, yeah. But she'll go out and we'll throw the football around, and she's, I teach her it's okay. You got to get better, but it's okay. You're going to miss the ball. It's okay. Because she's a girl. Sorry, women, ladies. But she's not, you don't see a lot, but she's a little tiny thing, and she loves to go out and throw the football. And I say, you're not giving up. She's like, let's just go back inside. I said, yes, you can. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to change the conversation you're having in your head and stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I've got this. I am catching this ball. I am getting this one. And she'll go out for a long pass and I'll bomb it to her. Boom, she catches it right after she changes the conversation she's having in her head. And that is so critical for every single one of us, man. I don't care if you're 12, if you're 24, or you're 75. We end up in those negative conversations in ourselves about what we can or can't do. And all we have to do is have that little tiny shift, and boom, we're off to the races again.
That's cool.
I did a test the other day, just like that. And so I had a little ball and I wanted to get it in this hole. And I kicked, and before I did it, I said, I can't do this. And it didn't get in. And I said that about 5 times and the ball did not go in. And then I said, and I went even farther back and said, I can do this, and went right in the hole. It's not all about the physical, it's mental too.
There's a movie you can find if you Google it and then type in Amazon. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? And Dr. Joe Dispenza's in it. It is such a powerful movie. Everybody on planet Earth should watch that multiple times. Have you seen it? It's amazing. Powerful, man. It's powerful. The power of our minds. We're walking around with these supercomputers right here between our ears. And here's the crazy part. Like, most people don't realize it. Yeah. I've written 7 look, I'm a co-author in a bunch of them. Mark Victor Hansen just asked me to write the opening chapter to his next book. The world's best-selling author wants me to write a book. How do you say no to that? Like, so like, and I'm like, are you serious? Of course I'll do that, but like, I've done that in 4 years, 7 books. I wrote my first book 4 years ago, and I put it off for 50 years. Maybe not 50. I was in my 20s probably when somebody said, dude, because I built an $8 million a year company by the time I was 27 years old. And people are like, you need to write a book. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And I never did. I kept putting it off. And then at 48, 49, 48, 49, what was it? No, it's not been 7 years. It's been 4 years. Yeah, I said 4 years. 4 years I've done 7 books where I've co-authored multiple books too. So anyway, you got to get your foot off the brake.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah. Right? You always say.
Just start.
Yeah, just start.
You don't know what's going to happen. Start. You don't know the outcome. You don't know anything until you just start.
Yeah, you just got to go.
Do you have a favorite quote that has always been a part of your life?
Tony Robbins. It's in our moments of decision that our destiny is shaped.
I love that.
I love it. That's
one of my favorite. You got to, it's deciding and then taking massive action.
Where focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another one that just for me was so powerful. Favorite book?
Oh, wow. Dr. Robert Anthony, Beyond Positive Thinking. It's a book that everybody should study over and over and over. Beyond Positive Thinking. It's always laying next to me.
It's a very powerful book.
Have you read it?
Very powerful book.
I reference this book at least once a day. At least.
And I'm obsessed with Think and Grow Rich, of course, but it's it's just that's really cool, sir. So
it's that's the thing, is it is all about our thoughts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it is all about our thoughts. Thank you. No, what I was going to point out is, how do people reach out to you? And what's the best way?
My website, kenwalls.com, is a good place to start. Yeah, anybody's welcome to email me, ken@clientsi.com, clientsi.com. And yeah, I'm an open book. I love to help people, and yeah. So yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
I think that's it. Well, thank you so much, Ken, for coming on today's interview. And it
Thank
was
you
a
for
pleasure
having me.
to have you on, and you've shared so much good knowledge with us today. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke. It's an honor to be here, and I keep doing what you're doing, man. It's wow, it's mind blowing. I love it. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.